Hello, welcome to Bad at Board Games. My name's Brad Blake, and I'm bad at board games, so you don't have to be. And I try not to knock down all the games I've got here. What are we talking about today? Well, today we're going to just talk about board game themes, like what attracts us, what are publishers vying to try. Some publishers have, trying to get out some learning, teach us something that we may not have done in a board game way. Others focus on different aspects from, like the IP that's the hot movie thing right now to video games to, historical, not accuracy, it's a board game, but, what are all the different themes that we have in board games and why are they picking them? What are your like go-to themes, like if it's this, no way, if it's that, I'm curious. So I have no idea what I'm going to call this. I have no idea how I'm going to do this thumb. However, if it's more of a conversation, like what do you think, board game companies should do, shouldn't do, kind of stay away from? I don't know, let's have a conversation. I know that we've got one I'm going to have to grab back there. And just so you know, 70% of you aren't subscribed. If you like this content and want to help us out on the channel, hit that subscribe button. We do fun board game stuff here. I almost don't think almost nothing in board games is unique, right? Everything's stolen from somewhere else and some myth and whatever. Like, we'll knock out the easy ones. You've got Star Wars and you've got Marvel Zombies or Marvel, and those just they're everywhere, right? You could go buy toilet paper probably with, Star Wars printed on them and Marvel printed on them somewhere, somehow. Big IPs like that. Star Trek, I don't think has really been able to find a great game. I can't remember what the name of the game is now. They've got one big, like space-ish battle game that is well liked, but it's still niche, right? We haven't seen a breakout Star Trek theme. The CGE game that came out that kind of is a parody, so they don't have to pay Star Trek prices. I haven't played that one yet, but I've kind of heard it's a little bit mid as well. But you're looking at things like that, and then we've got, your anime games. We've got Robotech here. One of them I picked up at Gen Con. And then we start looking at like games that want to teach us something or educate us in a way that we weren't aware, like the Four Humors. This is back in medieval times before they understood germs and bacteria and all these kind of things. They used to think that the things in your stomach, and they called them the Four Humors, affected like your well-being and sickness and things like that. Now, I didn't realize that, and that's what that game is based out of. That's why it's called a game of wits and guts. And so that's interesting. There's a little bit of education going on in there, whether you want it or not. And then like votes for women. This company has done, they've got Tripoli as well. They're coming out with games that kind of, or mentally be like, hey, this is, what was this about? This was about women's suffrage, and then you're playing this puzzle about how to get those votes to pass. Kind of gives you a bit of an education on our government and how things work, and so forth and so on. And then there's the company that makes a lot of, like, they're teaching you how things work within cells. It's all scientific based board games that they're at Gen Con every year, and they seem to do very well at it for that niche. And they're teaching you things as you're playing the game, which is interesting. That's another way to go about it, right? We've got the classics, westerns, and gladiators, everything Roman, everything war, any war that you've ever wanted. A lot of things in Europe where it's, they, like Vita Lacerda was able to take the history of Lisboa, and turn that into a game where they had the floods and where they had the fires and the rebuilding and um, the there's a story and a foundation for how the game was created. That's pretty cool. And then we just have fun little like Cubs. Is one of my favorite little games for younger adults. This one, 20 minutes, two to six players, 10 and up. Love the artwork. Love the little, there's no such thing as a Cub. It's just completely new. And then, we've got Mind Bug, trying to have fun mixes of, I kind of think of Avatar: The Last Airbender when it's like, the turtle lion or the mix of different things going on. And let's see what we got here. This is just one of the small packs. But, we have a spider owl and we have, the luchador, which is, a minotaur, but he's also mixed with a Mexican wrestler, and we have the snail hydra, just doing all the mashups, so to speak. And then we have things that are more realistic where you've got like, this is Next Station London and they've got the Next Station Tokyo and so forth and so on, where it's just a subway system, right? What? And then you've got fantasy, right? Obviously you've got fantasy, you've got sci-fi, Lord of the Rings is another IP. It's interesting. And at times I don't know what, like for me, kind of like space is almost a no-brainer, but space games are like out. They're faux pas. And for a while I would have said, or I did say, nature games were out for me. I wanted nothing to do with them. I just didn't care. But then my wife, nature girl, like it's a way to get her into board gaming. And then like Obsession, she loves that era. And, I can't wait to do that review with her because she's going to sit and talk about the era more so than the board game. And it's going to be fun. But, like finding those themes can get some people into them. Now, like some people, they can't. Maybe they have too much anxiety. They don't want to make those decisions and their brain just doesn't work mathematically in a way. A lot of games are like that, right? We're using our mathematical processing side versus our creative side. And then, the more complex the games, I think it's funny, like everybody can play Monopoly, but it's almost been integrated into our culture so well. It's like, it's not a complicated game, but there's a bit going on in Monopoly. Like nobody ever reads the rules. And then we have, it makes it harder sometimes when the person who designed the game can't write rules and, hire somebody that doesn't know how to play games to reread your rules, right? And finding a person that would be even willing to do that. It's all crazy. So I find it interesting, all the different ways that people are vying for our money. Like we've got, we've talked about movies, talked about fantasy. I'm looking around at my floor with all the stuff I've tried to do lately. And then very few new creative. Now, I think this is why I like this game so much. I think this world of Kingdom Death Monster, and I'm on a Kingdom Death Monster splurge, I apologize, but like I find the world of this unique and refreshing. Now, I'm sure it has, for those who can go through and see the hidden tropes and such and so forth and so on, but like it's a nightmarish world. Like the creative, like everything has hands on it and fingers, and it's so bizarre in that way, but it's not overdone and so disgusting that it's like, I don't want to be involved in it. And like taking away whether you like the anime art, and sexualization in it, just the world itself and the way that they're going about telling the story as you play the game. And it's not like a narrative. So when I look at Oathsworn in a campaign, they're telling you a story and then you go fight the boss. The way they do it in Kingdom Death Monsters, I feel like you're mentally creating that story as you fight, as you name your characters, kind of in a D&D way, and it's just letting it evolve for you and having some snippets. I just find it very, very interesting and unlike anything I've experienced in a campaign or in a board game. So that's one of the draws for me for that game, is just that it's been unique, right? What are some of the games that you have found that you get drawn to? I know I've probably said this 100 times. I'm circling, doing this off the cuff. I don't have a script, but it is interesting. When you want to sit there and analyze it, and what makes something interesting to you? Is it the art? Is it the theme? Is it the hype? How are they getting us, pulling us in? It is very curious and very interesting. So comment down below, let me know what you think, and just remember, no matter how you play, whether it's solo, with family, or friends, enjoy whatever you are bringing to the table. Have a great night.